This afternoon is going to run. So initially we're going to do a short meditation, and the purpose of that is just to bring everybody from their busy lives, busy mornings into this room, and we're gonna generate that energy so we can all be as present as we possibly can. After we do the 5 or 10 minute meditation, I'm going to say a little bit about myself, why I really wanted to do this. I might give you a few stories here and there. And then we're going to go through health and the link to mental health and mental well-being, because there's so much research that's come out now which talks about how important it is that we look after our gut and the links that it has to our mental health. So we'll be exploring those things as well, and that'll be more across the physical side. Then we're also going to be talking about self-compassion and how to look after yourself, as the poster said, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So I want you to walk away with a whole package of, hopefully not overwhelming, but information and new knowledge, some stuff you may have heard before. I need to say that take what resonates with you. Nothing that I say is exactly the same for every other person. A lot of it, obviously, is because it works for me, and it's worked for people that I know. But it doesn't mean that everything I say is gospel, even close. So I just wanted to really share with you my knowledge, my experience, and get amazing people to show up like this. It's fantastic. So we're also going to be talking about stress, anxiety, moods, and how to manage better. I'm not trying to say that you'll never feel stressed again, because that's not really the point. But we're going to be talking about different ways to manage your moods, how you can feel better, and even some tools and techniques for you to implement, and some acronyms and that for you to take away, so that if we're in that moment of a stressful situation, hopefully after today you'll have a few things that you go, oh yeah, I learned that on Sunday afternoon. And we're going to explore the difference between internal and external happiness. So as I was saying before, learning how to actually be happy just as you are. Like the biggest thing that comes through for me is being. I feel like we're human beings, we're not human doings. So the ultimate goal is to be. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be something. You don't have to be really good at sport or look a certain way, but that's the way that society pushes us. And that's not to have a judgment on that, but we want to now learn how we can actually tap into who we are and be. So today, I'd like you to try to practice just being. You don't have to do anything else besides that. And then at the end, we're going to go through some practical, I don't want to say exercises, because you're not exercising, but activities, if we call it, and that'll be some fun. So you won't be completely sitting down the whole time, but if anybody gets uncomfortable and needs to move, please just do what you need to. The forms that you've got in your plastic sleeves are the video release forms. So I'm going to be videoing the session, so if anybody has a problem with this going onto my website, which is the ultimate goal, or anywhere else, then please, the camera's over to the left, so if it moves around, if you're not happy with that, please just put your hand up and it's totally okay, and just maybe move towards the back so that you're not in the view. But if I could get those forms filled out at the end and just hand it back to me and just make sure that you're okay with it and letting you know that it is getting filled. So move around if you need. Let's do the meditation first. I'll get you to pop all your stuff down and try to have both feet on the ground, or if you're sitting on the floor, that's okay, have your bum on the floor. There is no right or wrong way to do this. So I'd like you to try as best as you can to let the inner critic go and be like, I shouldn't be thinking nothing. It's not true. You can do that, let me know. But right now, we're just going to spend 5 minutes or so bringing yourself into this room. So best, and feel free to move on to the ground if you want to lie down as well. I'm going to get you all to just close your eyes. Just start to bring your attention to your breath. Take a big belly breath in, let your belly fill up, and then breathe out, just sigh it out. And again at your own pace, breathing in, fill your belly, and then just sigh it out. Note you can make as much noise as you need to, just let it out. We'll do 2 more like that, filling up the belly, imagining expanding with air, and then let it out. One more time, breathing in. And then let it all go. Whatever you've got there holding on, just let it go. And then just let your breath find its own rhythm. Start to become aware of where you feel the breath as it enters in through your nose. And then where, when you breathe it out, is it through your mouth or does it come back through your nose? Just observe it, you don't have to change it. And every time your mind wanders off, because it will, just bring it back to your breath. Feeling the air coming in through your nose. Feel your belly, breathe out, just let your shoulders drop. Good. I want you to imagine that you've got roots like a tree underneath your feet, going down into the earth. Try to push those roots out as far as you can, so you're sinking deep, deep, deep down. Go as far as you possibly can go. And see the roots spreading out as far as they can go. And when you get to that point at the core of the earth, wherever that is for you, I want you to just hook it around and ground yourself there. So you're holding down. The earth is supporting you, your feet are flat on the floor. And you're connected. And then through those roots, I want you to imagine that you're drawing up all of the energy from the earth. Feel the love come up from the center, and you may feel a rush, you may feel a tingle, you may feel a warmth, and just let it run through your body. It's the earth giving back to you, and allow yourself to receive it with gratitude. Try to pull up as much as you can. Feel the love come all the way up into your chest and expand. And all the way to the top of your head. You might get a few tingles in the head. And then let the energy run up through your crown, through the top of your head, all the way up to the sky. Go up as far as you possibly can. Project that energy going up, out the top of your head, into the sky, past the stars. And then feel the love and connection from there, and let it rain down on you. And see if you can feel that energy coming from the top, down through your body, and then find the energy coming up from the ground, up, and they meet. And then you're getting a flow, and you're moving energy up, and you're moving energy down through your body. And I want you to soak up as much love as you possibly can, because this is all coming from you, it's coming from the universe. And you just have to open up to receiving that. Connect with it. Offer your gratitude that you're feeling how you're feeling. There's no right or wrong way to feel. Whatever comes up, even if it's flashes of light or a memory or somebody that you love, Let it be there. I want you to envision a rose-coloured pink light right in the centre of your chest. And I want you to focus on that light and watch the pink spin and expand. Feel what that energy feels like, that pink light of love spinning in your heart center and expanding out across the room. So not only are you feeling it, but you're giving it out to every other person in this room. Now, whilst you're giving it out, I want you to open up your heart to let it in. Everybody's giving love in this room right now. I want you to let it come in. We're giving out, we're taking in. Just observe how you feel. You might get a sense of joy, of love, of connection. A few happy tears, sad tears, whatever it is. Just see that light getting brighter and brighter in the center of your chest. Just imagine what your body looks like right now, glowing with heat. A bubble of love around you and a bubble of love around the room. You just sit in it for a minute. Just explore. There's no right way or wrong way to do that. Time the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath and that pink energy. And I want you to just take 3 deep breaths at your own pace, and every time you breathe in, I want you to breathe in that pink light. Breathe in so much love, as much as you can. And then breathe out black smoke, which is going to be letting go of all of the toxic energy you came in with. Breathing in pink, love, and light. Fill it up. And then let it out. Good. One more. Breathing in as much love as you can. Fill it up. And then breathing out. Let it go. I want you to just start to move your feet and your hands, keep your eyes closed a little bit. Start to stretch your body. If you need to stand, you can stand. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome. Alright. I'm going to get... Oh, first of all, this event, seminar, we are raising money and awareness for the Children's Tumour Foundation. And we are very blessed to have Valerie, who's here with us. And she's going to just give us a little bit more information about the Children's Tumour Foundation and her reason for being here. We're allowed to use.
Sorry. One of my grandchildren, grandson, is Fraser. At 5 weeks of age, he was put under observation because doctors noticed some coffee-coloured birthmarks appearing on his body. At 18 months ago, he was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis. Neurofibromatosis is a disorder where tumours can grow on any nerve in your body, any. Skin, anywhere, spine, brain. He's developmentally delayed. His speech, with walking. Did I say he's 4 years old? He's 4 years old. just over 12 months ago, he was diagnosed with a tumour on his optic pathways nerve, which is where the nerves from the eyes to the brain cross. It is inoperable. They live in Tumour, which is 3.5 hours away from Melbourne Children's Hospital, where they go to see specialists. He has about 9 different specialists: an oncologist, geneticist, ophthalmologist, to name just a few. He wears glasses. He has weak vision. The tumour is inoperable. They are monitoring it. 12 months ago, he went down. He has MRIs every 3 months on his brain. 12 months ago, they went down to get a base MRI before they started chemotherapy and discovered that he had hydrocephalus, which is fluid on the brain. So that then became the priority over the tumour. They inserted a shunt, so he had brain surgery at 3 years of age to put the shunt in. 3 weeks ago, he was going down for his 3 monthly checks. I have to go down every 3 months. And they discovered, well, he actually went to his ophthalmologist and everything was great. His eyesight was great. They had a really good report. MRI came back. Oncologist was happy with everything. Then on the way home, he developed a headache, and they thought it may have just been the drops. And they discovered headache didn't go away. Went to the GP ordered the CT. Discovered that pressure in his brain had built up again, so they had to go back in and do a second brain surgery to unlock blockage in his shunt. So he's a little 4-year-old boy, and that's his life. But he's a happy chappy, and he's beautiful, and you're going to see a picture of him on this page. And my daughter, the Children's Tumour Foundation have 2 great big fundraising events every year. One of them is Cupid's Uggies Run, which they've just done down in Auckland. They're in Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, every major city has them. But my daughter, with everything that she has to deal with, being a farmer, dairy farmer's wife with very little income, organised the Tumour Run, and with that, our team raised over $23,000 for the Children's Tumour. So he's the only boy in Tumour East NF. It affects everybody differently. It's an individual thing. It's a genetic disorder. However, it can be a spontaneous mutation of the NFG, which is what my grandson has. So he's the first in our family to have it. Thank you everybody for listening, and thank you Elise and Karen for suggesting Children's Tumour Foundation for that show. Thank
you, Valerie. Thank you for being here. There's a box at the front. If you please pop your donations in that box. There's a big one off here too, but we'll start it up there.
Can I just say that any money raised goes to education for getting the word out there. It's also for providing support for families of children with NF. Every year they run camps for families and siblings of children with NF, and it's also for research for a cure, which is what we're really
And the online is now closed, is that right? The fundraiser today. Today is the last day, so you want to do online. And I've got the link on my Facebook, so if you don't have my Facebook,
and it's
tax deductible. Okay, thank you. And otherwise, cash donations for today, please put in the box. Yeah. And we'll do a count up and we'll let everybody know how much we've raised. So thank you. What we're going to do now, I'm just going to show a short video. If you can't see it, maybe just move in just for this. Goes for about 4 or 5 minutes. And it's going to kick off our gut health sector. And then we're going to have a bit of a talk about that. So if anybody needs to move, I'm going to press the play in 5 seconds.
The next time you look in the mirror, think about this. In many ways, you're more microbe than human. There are 10 times more cells from microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi, than human cells in and on our bodies. And our genes are outnumbered 100 to 1 by microbial genes. Scientists even have a name for all these microbial genes, the human microbiome. Now, this might make a lot of people rush for the hand sanitizer. But it turns out most of these microorganisms aren't bad, germs that will make us sick. Most are good. And without these good microbes, our bodies don't seem to do as well. We don't seem to be as healthy, and we actually might get sick more often. So one question is, where do our microbiomes come from in the first place? Well, like a lot of things, it starts with our mothers. As the infant passes through the birth canal, it gets coated with microbes from the mom. These microbes may kind of seed the baby with just the right mix. Combined with bacteria in breast milk and other microbes we encounter early on, they seem to slowly take shape in our first few years of life. The overall mix of our microbes becomes very personal, sort of like a fingerprint or maybe a blood type. But our microbes tend to resemble those of our parents and siblings, and may stay with us for much of our lives. They may also be doing all sorts of things, such as educating our immune cells, like this one, teaching them the difference between things they should fight off, bad bugs that might make us sick, and things that aren't a threat, like our good microbes. When we're adults, microbes become our first line of defense, fighting off germs that try to invade our bodies, protecting their turf while protecting our health. Scientists have discovered they can even spew out their own antibiotics. The types of microbes in your body vary depending on exactly where they live, like different ecosystems in nature. There are wet places like our mouths, noses, and armpits, oily places like our scalps and backs, and dry places like our forearms. Different species of microbes have adapted to each of these habitats. The biggest, most important microbial habitat seems to be in the gut. It's the most complex, the most diverse, and everything microbes are doing everywhere else in our bodies, fighting off infections, revving up and dampening down our immune systems, signaling cells, that's all happening in the gut in spades. They even seem to help regulate our metabolisms, how much energy we burn and how much fat we store. So if it's not functioning properly for some reason, because of what we eat, antibiotics we take, that may actually lead to all kinds of diseases. Diseases like colon cancer, colitis, maybe even diabetes and obesity. Some scientists think one reason a lot of diseases are increasing is because we've lost key gut microbes. Our microbiomes look far less diverse compared to those of people in less developed countries and earlier generations. And remember how we get our microbiomes in the first place? From our mothers when we're born and from breast milk? Well, some scientists think that too many babies aren't getting that because of all the C-sections and not enough breastfeeding, plus all the antibiotics kids get these days and our obsession with cleanliness. All this may help explain why problems like asthma and allergies have been soaring. Maybe because our microbiomes never taught our immune systems how to work the right way. Maybe swallowing good microbes, probiotics, could prevent and treat some diseases. So could taking prebiotics, essentially food that good microbes love. We end our story with a reminder. This research is really new. We still have a lot to learn about what many of our microbes are really doing. But scientists say that it's getting clearer and clearer that the tiny organisms all over our bodies are essential to our health and happiness.
Alright, so you to imagine that your gut is like a rainforest. So sort of like how they had that little magical looking land, that's your gut, your stomach. That's called the microbiome, and that's the environment where your microbes live. Like they were saying, microbes all over us, but the gut is so important. So inside your rainforest, there's 50 trillion plus different microbes, so different little creatures in your rainforest. And there's so many different strains of them, and we've got good guys and then we've got the bad guys. And obviously we want to have more of the good guys fighting in our system so that we feel good. So it talks a lot about like energy, it talks about, not so much our mood, but it affects our mood, it affects our digestion, it affects our appetite, it affects our immune system, it affects our sleep. And so each little of those creatures, they all play different roles. So if we don't have the right guys in our gut, in our rainforest, to help us sleep, then we're not going to be getting good quality sleep. It doesn't matter how early you go to bed. If we're not having the right ones in to help fight with your immune system, it doesn't matter how well you eat. If you don't have those good guys in your gut, it doesn't matter what exercise you do. It's all, well not all, but there's such a large part that comes down to how healthy your gut is. The best way to increase the diversity of those little guys in your gut, the easiest thing to do is eat colourfully. So the more colours that you have in your diet, then the different, you get different microbes, different creatures from different foods. So even if someone was eating super healthy and all they're having is chicken, brown rice, broccoli, it sounds like it's good for you, but look at the colours. So you're really only getting that small amount of the microbes, so those good guys, in your gut. We're not getting the whole army coming along, but we want the army. So one thing to take away is just start to be more observant of the colours that are on your plate and throughout your day and throughout your week. So we want to try to feel, and the obvious thing is the less processed, the less sugar, the more not just raw, but the more natural. So fruits and veg. Your lean proteins, your nuts, your seeds, your legumes, but we want to be making sure that most of our diet is unprocessed and from raw source, natural. The other thing in terms of our gut, so how it links to our mental health and our well-being is, who's heard of serotonin before? Yeah. So for those of you who haven't, and even if you have, serotonin is like our happy hormone. It has so many different roles, but a big part of that is it helps with our mood, so it makes us feel good. It does also help with things like your sleep and your appetite, your immune. But if we just look at the factor of it has a big part in how you feel, serotonin is mainly produced in your gut. So if you were to imagine your rainforest, which is your stomach, that's actually the manufacturer place for this hormone called serotonin. And that hormone is responsible for making you feel good. So if we're not having a healthy, clean, effective factory, then we're not going to be producing very good serotonin. The quality of it and the quantity of it is not going to be as good as if we were to eat well, to look after our gut, to move, to not have too much stress. So it really does play a huge role in how much serotonin we produce, as well as the quality of it. Just like that. Sit for a second. That's your manufacturing system. The other thing, the other two hormones that I want to talk about is ghrelin and leptin. Has anybody heard of those two? Yeah, cool. A few less than the serotonin. So ghrelin, the best way to remember is like, I'm hungry. And ghrelin is released by your body to let you know that it wants to eat, because we need to feel satisfied, we need to have energy. So ghrelin is released and it will tell your body to eat. The other one that is produced by your fat cells is called leptin. And leptin is the one that goes, okay, stop eating, I'm satisfied, you don't need to eat anymore. Now, our gut has a huge responsibility for helping out with those hormones, producing them. So if we are producing too much ghrelin, who's ever been at the place where they feel like they are so hungry one day and it doesn't matter how much food that you try to shove in your mouth, nothing fills the stomach? No, just us. Come on. Okay. Yeah, you. There is a possibility that you're producing too much ghrelin, which is not you know, doing anything wrong in terms of what you're eating maybe, but your body is producing a hormone that is telling you to eat. It's only going to have so much willpower to fight that feeling. So that's why, I don't know if anybody can relate to this, I sure can. You wake up in the morning, you set your intention to eat really healthy, like have a good egg breakfast. Thanks, Karen. See you soon. You have a good breakfast, have some fruit and some nuts, you have a great chicken salad for lunch, then you might have another piece of fruit in the afternoon, then dinner comes. And you use up all of your willpower. And then we get into the bags of cookies, then we get into the ice cream, then we get into chips, then we get a few extra wedges with our chicken schnitzel, I don't know. And it does not stop, because you've gotten so far and you're like, oh, I'm doing so well. And then the willpower's like, reached ultimate. And then it's like, and then you're eating. There's only so much willpower that you've got. So we want to try to balance out your hormones so that you're not having to use up that willpower in that way. Because then the guilt and the shame and then the regret comes in after we've smashed 2 tubs of ice cream. Not talking about this. So those hormones have a huge, huge role, and they're part of our gut and our microbiome, our rainforest. So we want to try to look after that, which is going to help regulate our appetite. It's going to manage our fat loss as well. So if you think that you're always producing so much ghrelin and you're always hungry, chances are you are going to put on fat. So we want to try to keep that happy balance. I think that was it. Yes. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is that in your stomach, you actually have the same material that is made up, that your brain is made up of. The same material is, there's a thin layer of it in your stomach. It's called the enteric system. So think about that for a second. If you've got the material that's made up from your brain in your stomach, some people call the stomach the second brain, or the first brain. So we have gut feelings, we have thoughts and feelings come through that are connected to our gut. It's made up of the same stuff as your brain. So when you get a gut feeling, it's not just the gut feeling. Listen. Tune into your body and ask what it's trying to tell you. And if you listen, it'll give you a response.